right, guys. So we're gonna go over the basics of nutrition. You know, one concept that I really want everybody to get away from is like being in a crazy calorie deficit being the right answer. You know what I mean? Because honestly, not everybody needs to be in a calorie deficit, especially if you're not somebody who needs to lose a lot of weight, right? And it's only so safe to be in, you know, such a calorie deficit at the end of the week, right? Oh, you're good. You're good. So the first thing that we need to establish is your resting metabolic rate. Now, what that is and what the resting metabolic rate means is how many calories you burned at rest. If you sit on your butt all day long and you didn't move a muscle, that's how many calories that your body just takes to stay alive, to breathe, for your organs to run, keep everything pumping and moving, right? So, everybody is a little bit different based on your height, your weight, and your muscle mass that you have. The only real way to get like the exact number is to go to a lab and get it tested, right? But as long as we get a base number, that's really what we're looking for, right? We're not trying to, we're looking for a lifestyle change. We're not really training to get up on stage and go into competition with, you know, figure modeling or bodybuilding. And even people who do that, that's a very short-lived moment. You know, that style of eating is not necessarily healthy. It's not something you can sustain for a long period of time. And the end results of those in your appearance, the way that you look, only last for a short period of time as well, too. That's the opposite of what we're looking for, right? We're looking for healthy, sustained lifestyle changes. That's what we're looking for, right? But if you guys look at the MegaFit app that I have you guys weigh in on, at the very end it says, I think it does it in kilojoules or whatever, but at the very end it's going to say like 1734 or 1508 or 2126 or whatever. That is your estimated resting metabolic rate. Okay, so we're going to go off that number because it's going to be within a couple hundred calories or so, right? So that's what we're going to go off of. Now, assuming your resting metabolic rate, so RMR, resting metabolic rate, assuming that is at, we'll say 1,600 calories, okay? Because that's a pretty common area for a lot of you guys to be burning. It's about 1,600 calories a day. Again, this is with you guys not moving a muscle. So that's without being a mom, that's without work, that's without all the other stuff that you guys do, okay? So this number right here, we have every single day, right? So on top of that, we have to take to consideration our training sessions. So on a perfect week, we'll go off on a week that you guys are in here Monday through Saturday, and we hit every session. So we'll do resistance training, right? So we'll put training sessions in here. And on average, we'll say we'll take a 500 calorie burn on average, because some workouts were a little bit closer to 700-800 calories. Our Friday workouts are probably a little closer to the 300 calorie mark. So we'll go on a base average here of about 500 calories per workout, right? So 500 calories, and we're going that 6 days a week, right? Now, on top of that, you guys have your cardio sessions that we're doing, correct? So let's say we're doing 5 days a week of cardio. Half hour for most of you guys, that's burning roughly 250 to 300 calories, depending on what you do. Okay, so I mean, obviously, if it's a walk, if you go for a half-hour walk, your calorie burn is a lot less than if you go for a 30-minute run. Correct? So there's sometimes there's room in between there. But let's say 5 days a week, 30 minutes. That's going to be an average of 300 calories per workout, right? So we have cardio here. 300 calories. And we're going to do that 5 times a week. Okay, so this right here is a perfect week, right? Will somebody get out their phone or their calculator for me? Anybody have their phone handy with them? All right, so let's do 1,600 times 7 days a week. 1,600 times 7. So now what we have to do, guys, is we're going to figure out how many total calories we're burning per week, right? So we go resting metabolic rate. You have that every single day because you're alive every day. You wake up and breathe every day, correct? So you do 1,600 times 7 days a week, and we have 11,200 calories. 11,200 from a resting metabolic rate. Then we do 500 calories 6 times a week. That's what, 3,000 calories, correct? Yeah, 3,000 calories. 3,000 calories a week from our training sessions. And then 5 times a week, 300 calories, that comes from our cardio. That's 1,500 calories a week from our cardio side, right? My math correct? Yep. Okay. Cool. 1,500 calories. Now, let's add up all three of these numbers. 11,200 plus the 3,000, that gives us 14,200, plus the 15, that gives us 15,700, right? 1517, right?
15,700, yeah.
15,700, yeah. 15 total, 15,700 calories that we are burning per week. Correct? Right? Now, I want you guys, most of you, now if your goal is not to lose weight, right? If you're not trying to lean up a little bit and lose fat, body fat, we won't even say weight, if you're not trying to lose fat, right? You don't want to be in a calorie deficit. Chad over there, this wouldn't work for him because I don't want him in a calorie deficit, right? But for most of you guys, and for 85% of the clients that I get, everyone wants to get a little bit leaner, a little bit toner. They want to lose some body fat, not necessarily weight, right? We want to be in a 3,500 calorie deficit. Anybody tell me why it's 3,500 calories? That's the amount of calories that are in 1 pound of fat, right? 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of fat. Write that down. That's an important note. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of fat. Minus 3,500 equals what? 12,200? 12,200, is that correct?
So you're subtracting a pound of fat from the number of calories that you burn?
12,200 calories per week. What is this, guys? This is our weekly calorie intake goal now. Okay, that's how many calories we want to eat. All right. So, right here, this is our daily calorie intake goal. Or sorry, weekly, not daily.
Oh wait.
Weekly.
Yes. I mean, I'm
Weekly
recording it for
calorie
later.
intake goal. Okay. Now, how many days are in a week? We have 7, correct? So somebody divide this by 7 for me. Divided by
742.
It's what? 1,742
This is a
calories.
recording. We'll post
This
it
is
later.
what?
Oh,
This is our daily calorie intake goal.
That's
All right?
if you don't want to lose weight. You just want to chill out where
No.
you're at.
This is what if you want to lose weight. This is if you want to lose body fat. This is if you want to lose. Yes. So the reason being is 3,500 calories because we didn't take into consideration all the other things that we do. You being a mom, you having a job, all the extra stuff that you do. So being in this 3,500 calorie deficit of set 3,500 calories probably puts you closer to the 5,000 to 7,000 calorie deficit a week mark. Now that is a safe, healthy, sustainable calorie deficit where we can still put on lean muscle, still get the nutrients that we need, and still keep us on track. So a lot of you guys who are eating, not to call you out, was it you that was eating 800 calories? Maybe you, or I think Roxana was eating like way underneath. So if you can see how far away you guys are. Now what happens if you don't eat enough calories? Your body goes into starvation mode. So it works at first, you start to drop a little bit of fat, a little bit of weight. Then your body goes into starvation mode. It goes back to when we were cavemen. We didn't know if we were going to eat once a week, every other, once a day, once a month, whatever. So when our body gets so stressed out, it converts everything. Our glucose level spikes and it converts and holds on to everything. It turns into fat. Okay, the storage system. It's in our DNA to keep our bodies alive, right? So when eating 800 calories is almost as bad as eating 8,000 calories. You know what I mean? Like it almost does the same thing, right? So if you can see how far away a lot of you guys were. So this is just an average. Now this is some of my smaller clients. Some of you guys adjusted metabolic rate is like at 2,200 calories. That means this number is probably going to be closer to 2,500 calories a day that you need to eat, all right? Now, the next question is, how do we get those calories, right? Where should they come from? Okay, so we have, these are called macronutrients. We have 3 main macros. Okay, we have carbohydrates, which is 4 calories per gram. Okay, for every 1 gram of carbohydrate, you have 4 calories. Okay, so 4 calories per gram. The next one is going to be our protein. Okay, so, well, hold on. Let's talk about. What's that? So our next thing. Sorry. Carbohydrates. So let's talk about where they come from. Where's the carbohydrates come from? So we have different kind of carbs. We have complex carbs and we have fast. We have fast burning carbs, we have complex carbs, right? Okay, so fast burning carbs are going to be coming from our sugars, like you know, our ice creams, our white bread, our white pasta, chocolate cake, pudding, most of the things that a lot of us love, right? The reason that we love them though is because we've introduced them to our body and to our system. It's amazing, like once you start eating clean for a while and you go back and you have a blizzard or something or a piece of cake or whatever, and like how rich it tastes and how you can only eat a little bit, how it almost makes you sick. Our bodies don't want that, right? So those are our fast burning carbs. And I'm not saying that you can never have those, right? And I'm not saying there's not natural sources of fast burning carbs, like our fruits, okay? But we want to look for more complex carbs, slow burning carbs, more sweet potatoes, whole grains, whole rices, what would be another, like edamame, that kind of thing. Okay, whole grains. That's what we're looking for carbs. So I want us to get. That's complex carbs. Yeah, those are complex carbs, slow burning carbs. So.
Edamames are so beans are considered carbs.
Yes. So yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes, beans are absolutely carbohydrates. Yes, beans. So Liz, this asked a really good question. A lot of people might not realize that beans, they're a starch, but they're also a carbohydrate as well. Starch is a carbohydrate. Okay. So I want us to get away from the thought of carbohydrates are bad. We just got to get the right carbs in our system, right carbohydrates in our system, and not overloading ourselves with carbs. I mean, it's really easy to go over on carbs when you're going to eat a little tiny ho-ho that has 83 grams of sugar, 83 carbs in one little ho-ho. Well, of course, now once you're getting 500-600 grams of carbohydrates in a day's time, that's way too much. But we want a significant amount of our calories coming from carbohydrates, right? So our next thing, and we'll go in, a little bit further with that and how the percentages and everything as well. But our next thing is going to be our protein. Okay, so protein again, that has 4 calories a gram as well. So obviously, I think protein is one of the easiest ones for us to get down. A lot of people are pretty common with proteins. That's our meats, our fish, our chickens. But what other sources do they come from this our meat? What? Any?
Peanut butter.
Yes, nuts, nut butters. Nuts and seeds is a really good way to get them as well too. Eggs is a good way to get them as well too. Greek yogurt, that kind of thing. So you don't necessarily have to think meat. Yeah, yogurt is a protein as well. Yeah, so you don't have to think meat all or nothing with protein. Okay, so the last one is going to be our fat, which is going to be our highest calorie per gram, which is going to be 9 calories per gram. Okay, so what we're looking for, there's all kinds of different fats, but we're looking for omega-3s or fatty acids or healthy fats, okay, or non-saturated fats. That's what we're looking for, right? Nuts and seeds have a really good source of them. Eggs is a really good source of them. Fish is a really good source of fats as well. Trying to think. Avocado, yes, avocados. Yeah, not really. It's not real high on the fat scale, but there is some healthy fat. Yeah. Right.
Oils, olive oil.
Olive oil is a good. Yes, sesame oil, olive oil. Those are good things. If you look, like in a lot of Italian dressings, they have olive oil in it. So if you look, the fat is like crazy high, but it's healthy fats for you. So, now percentage-wise, when we look at carbohydrates, we want roughly 35 to 40% of our calories coming from carbohydrates. Again, guys, I don't need you spot on. We're not training to get on stage. We're trying to eat healthy lifestyles. So we're just trying to figure out mostly where these calories should come from, right? So we want 35 to 40%. So that is a big part of our calories need to come from carbohydrates, okay? Now, the next one, same thing. I go 35 to 40% with our protein. And then with fat, that leaves us what? 30, 20 to 30%. All right? So, why is this important? When you guys go and you're logging into MyFitnessPal, you guys are trying to get on top of your nutrition, you go to MyFitnessPal. On the side of there, it tells you what percentage of your calories are coming from what so far in the day. So, if you're looking and you only have so far 10%, let's say you're at 1,000 calories and only 10% of them have come from carbohydrates, you know you need a little bit more carbs in your body, right? Or Same thing, flip it if it goes from fat. You know, you need a snack, or your lunch needs to have a little bit higher protein. I know I've given you guys meal plans and stuff. With a busy life, it's hard to stay exactly on those meal plans, but if we can eat like similar foods and understand the base concept of it with using MyFitnessPal, you guys can log this and do this on your own and kind of switch things up and put your own twist and flavor on the meal plans I send you, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out, for whoever this person would be, let's go ahead and figure out how many grams of carbs they would need per day. So we're gonna take the 1742, where's my calculator at? Let's go ahead and go 35% times 0.35. That's gonna give us how many calories?
Wait, sorry, what is it?
So you're gonna go 1700 times the 0.35. So that's 35%. So if we want 30,
609.7.
okay, so that's 609.7 calories should come from carbohydrates. Okay? So sorry, 600 what?
609.
609. Divide that by 4. Divided by 4, because that's how many calories per gram, right? Divided by 4, 152 grams of carbohydrates. That's how many grams of carbohydrates this person would need. So carbs, 152.
Yep.
All right. So now we're gonna do the same thing. Pull your calculator out for me, Laura. Same thing. 1742 times the 0.35. Well, hold on, it'd be the same exact setup, same exact thing. Protein, because the numbers are the same, it'd be the same exact setup to get your protein. So again, you're gonna walk right around 152 grams of protein. And then our fat, so now we're gonna go 1742 times 0.3, because that would be 30%, right? So with 35 on each, so we have 522. So fat would be 522.
What?
We divide that by the 9 calories per gram. 58. So 58 grams of fat. So this person needs, on a daily basis, 1,742 calories, roughly, give or take, right? About 152 grams of carbs, about 152 grams of protein, and about 58 grams of fat. Does that make sense? Okay? Is everybody with me now on kind of how to get your base nutrition? Okay? Now, again, guys, we're looking for a healthy lifestyle for you guys to understand how to make that happen. We're not training, we're not looking for, I gotta lose 30 pounds by this date, how do we do that? It's not about that, it's about a healthy lifestyle. If you do this and you follow the process and you're coming to training, now remember, this is not a perfect week, guys. So if you only show up to training twice and only do 2 days of cardio, this math makes no sense now. You know what I mean? So you got to give it for what it is. You know, it's face value on here, like literally face value. These are the numbers that if it's a perfect week. So that might need to adjust. And I'm not saying like beat yourself up if you miss a training session, but on those days that you don't have a crazy high calorie burn day, you might want to take this number from 1742 and maybe make it 1600. Maybe sacrifice 100 calories or so. That's all I'm saying, right? To adjust that. But now you guys have at least a base idea of why you should get the calories, where they should come from, and why it's so important to get those calories. Okay? We got to get away from trying to starve ourselves. If you think about getting 800 calories, well, you're almost getting 800 calories in just the amount of carbs and protein that you have. You know what I mean? That's 1,200 calories. This is the amount of, you know, so if you're only eating 800 calories, you're probably only getting 40 or 50 grams of carbs and protein and, you know, maybe 20 grams of fat. So you see how, like, malnutrition you can get from that, correct? Right? Any questions?